Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sina Cup. We are in our second semi-final game, and this is our second game of this semi-final best of three. It's Team DK up against Vici Gaming, and I'm sitting here hoping that everybody is going to be loading in. So I'm Baseskip here providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and joining me is Winter. So Winter, how's it going?
I'm good. Like the last game was totally a treat to watch.
It was,
Hopefully
yeah,
the next game will be the same.
it was back and forth. There was no clear winner until the very end. I don't think our gold graph ever got any further out than 5k in favor of either team. And given that we had an hour-long game, I think it's a great metric to say, look, these teams are very evenly matched. And yeah, I think you said it all. The game was a treat. So DK, again this time around, are going to be opening it up with the Pugna ban. And I guess DK, it's a bit of a shame that they do have these ping problems for Mushi and ISSIs restricting their hero pool a little bit. Do you think we might see something different from them in this game? Do you think there's anything that's worth pointing out with them being on the Radiant this side as opposed to the Dire? Have your expectations shifted at all?
I feel that like this time round, maybe DK want to just pick something much more greedy as well instead of the last game picking like strong laning heroes only and using the Midas to compensate showed in the last game. It wasn't the limitations on the Midas compensating for you having lack of a carry. It can only go you so far. It can only bring you that far, and when Burning doesn't have any slots anymore, it's gonna be the same problem. Like they used to run this strat for Protect 1 and everyone countered it by having 2 or 3 carries to fight Burning, and it always like Burning is always having this situation where he's forced to deal with multiple carries, and sometimes he makes it out alive, sometimes he doesn't, and maybe DK can just use more carries this game, but probably it's like what you say, the ping making them not wanting to go that direction.
It's difficult because I don't think you can even say, oh look, DK should just they should just pick anti-mage for Burning and then Burning can win the game by himself with help from the supports.
Like
That's
anymore.
not the case
Yeah.
at all. If you can't hold out the early game with your other 2 core heroes, then Vici Game are going to end the game in 20 minutes and Burning won't be able to get anywhere.
5 seconds.
You know, that's the beauty of the draft, the last game for Vici. They can at the same time be super greedy with the 3
Reserve
costs,
time.
but the 3 costs can be played as an aggressive
DK's
manner early
turn
on,
to pick.
taking your towers as 5 heroes, and what is DK gonna do in that situation? They can't defend against the Chen.
I think and there's also something to be mentioned about sort of laning dynamics changing. There isn't really so much of a sense of destroying somebody 1v1 in lane anymore. At the moment, I mean, you were talking about the
10
Alchemist
seconds
versus the Queen of
remaining.
Pain, and yes, it was not great for the Alch at all. But
5
all he pretty much
seconds
needed to do
remaining.
was reach level 6. He was still going to get his levels, and if he was really worried about the Queen of Pain, he could just go and
Reserve
stack the
time.
jungle a little bit, help out the Chen. The Chen could help him out.
Yep.
So I guess you can afford to be a little bit greedier.
He had a really good impact the last game. He couldn't have fought against the Queen of Pain, but he roamed around. He got runes and he controlled the game. He got kills, he got ganks, and his team was able to use his ganks plus the Chen creeps to take down towers. So that sort of compensate what he lost out in the lane versus the Queen of Pain.
So
Dire team
this time around, what have we got banned at? The Alchemist gets removed, the Elder Titan gets removed, the Venomancer gets removed. So Visage makes it through, Timbersaw makes it through, as does
Clockwork.
Clockwork.
What does Vici Gaming choose? Do they go for the Timbersaw or the Clockwork? You can only choose one of those as your off lane. Like they have the liberty to choose which one they want now. Or they can just maybe go for a CM pickup plus one of the off lanes.
10 seconds
I
remaining.
guess there's also the temptation to maybe grab like Clockwork and
5
Rubik
seconds
here,
remaining.
maybe just so you don't give DK a really obvious support as their second one.
Reserve
Yeah.
time.
Rubik plus Visage is generally what people want to go for when you pick Visage as his partner. Rubik complements the Visage really well, but I wouldn't say that CM is a lot weaker than Rubik. It still feels in the same position, and DK wouldn't mind going for that as well because CM is also really good in the current game meta. So it wouldn't be a huge loss for them not having the Rubik to complement the Visage.
Yeah, I think the one thing as well to bring up with the Rubik and the Visage is that if you run the Rubik Visage and your carry, on the safe lane, then eventually you do kind of
turn
want to
to
move
pick.
your off lane or your mid maybe into the jungle, maybe to start ganking, just so you can put your put one of those two supports in a lane to grab some extra levels. And the nice thing about having the Crystal Maiden is that she can jungle a little bit. So the Visage is actually able to take all the pulls, get a little bit of lane experience, and actually end up out of the early game fairly well. So I like what Vici have gone for here. They've gone the Bristleback again, and they've gone the Crystal Maiden.
10
and
seconds
Bristleback's
remaining.
actually fantastic against Visage. It's very difficult for him to get his
5 seconds
familiars
remaining.
in, and actually get stuns down and deal damage against the Quill Spray.
Reserve time.
But there's a Timbersaw now. Timbersaw is extremely effective against Bristleback. But it looks like actually Mushi disconnected. I believe he was the picker.
So this is, now we find out, right? Is
Mushi
Mushi drafting
disconnected.
or is Burning drafting? If there's a pick now, then yeah.
No one is picking the hero. They're into their... Oh, okay.
Okay,
This
it
not
is. I
Mushi
guess it is.
drafting.
I guess it is Burning.
DK's turn to ban.
That sucks. Not knowing who's picking the heroes.
Yeah, it does. It really does. I should probably... I don't even know if somebody has made a post about it on the dev forums. I've heard other casters complain about it,
10 seconds
but I don't know if
remaining.
anybody has actually gone through the effort of being like, Valve, this
Yeah.
is a problem,
5
please fix it.
seconds
I
remaining.
I like the old method where the drafter has to always be the blue or the pink.
Yeah, it had
That's
to be the
easy.
top spot. That
Reserve
was
time.
very straightforward.
Yeah, but like I said, the Timbersaw is actually the directly pick up for DK to reply towards the Bristleback.
Yeah, you've got enough burst
Dire
damage
team
to...
ban.
Yeah. Pure damage
Bring him down.
doesn't care about your your passive ability.
I'm not actually sure about that, because the pure damage just ignores... it always does...
Yeah,
10 seconds
it
remaining.
ignores your Bristleback. You don't
Does it?
actually. Yeah, it ignores. Does
Okay.
5 seconds
To
remaining.
my knowledge, Bristleback still reduces it, because Bristleback is just take the damage that you're going to
Reserve
take,
time.
Oh.
check the positions, and then it's like a pseudo heal, or at least
Oh,
in
I
Dota 1.
actually had that in mind that it doesn't block it, but I have never tried it before.
Okay.
Maybe you're right.
I'm
DK's
70%
turn to
sure.
ban.
So
I'll ask someone really quickly. I know someone might know.
okay, cool. I'm sure somebody can fact check for us. So moving forward into the draft, Vici Gaming just going to be getting rid of the Rubik, DK get rid of the Kanka. So
10
looks like right
seconds
now they're just a
remaining.
little bit worried about the all-in kind of mid-game team fight from
Dire
Vici
team
Gaming.
ban.
They've got rid of the Kanka and they've got rid of the Dragon Knight as well. So I think they're just worried about Vici Gaming going for the 3 really beefy core heroes plus maybe like a Chen or another healing hero. They could go for a Dazzle, something like that. And then DK, the problem starts
10
to become,
seconds
do we
remaining.
actually have enough damage to kill all these guys in the mid game?
5 seconds remaining.
Depends on whether they go really greedy, like 3 cores again. If they go for 3 cores again, then DK would be
Reserve
back to the
time.
same question. Do they pick additional cores to deal with the multi-core of Vici Gaming? Because Vici Gaming always picks a lot of cores. They don't do 1 core with Sylar and that's about it. They always have
Dire team
super
pick.
maybe on another damage hero or ROTK on his Prophet, or in this scenario would be the Bristleback. So they would definitely have a lot of cores.
Yeah, there's always that question of who's going to escalate the number of cores first. And
DK's
it looks
turn
like it's
to
actually
pick.
going to be Vici Gaming. They pick up the Weaver here. Though, I think we can already read into their lanes a little bit, because you don't want to leave the
Dire
Weaver
team
1v1 against the Timber, which means that they probably can't look for an aggressive tri-lane, I guess, with the Crystal Maiden Bristleback +1. That would be my immediate thought.
Yeah, the Weaver will be a really good. They can even put like the dual lanes with the CM2. Like it's entirely up to them. They can have a very flexible laning style against DK to gain much more advantage for all of their lanes instead of just trying to
10
give one hero
seconds
a
remaining.
comfortable early phase.
So
5
Vici are looking
seconds
for
remaining.
a support and a mid. DK are looking for their carry.
Reserve time.
Yeah,
And
there are
their
2
mid.
cores on Mushi and Burning.
Yeah. Do you have anything
This
particular
game-
in mind? I'm not actually sure.
I actually feel there's one way they can go deal with the Bristleback, which is minus armor. Like minus armor is still really good against Bristleback despite of his passive skill. So Mushi's repertoire is either a Shadow Fiend or a Templar Assassin. He can play both, and both can be really, really potent against Bristleback. So they can pick either one of that. to deal with the Bristleback instead of getting a tempo controller or a Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain won't deal with the Bristleback really well.
DK's turn
Did we get
to
an
pick.
answer about pure damage versus
No,
Bristleback?
my friend didn't reply, so I
Twitch
don't-
chat, it's up to you. I don't know who to. I don't know if I trust Twitch chat that much. I do like this pickup a lot from Vici Gaming because if DK were looking for a mid to try and, they don't have a lot of lockdown for the Weaver at the moment. Admittedly, they have one stun and that's it. And Magic Missile is great, but it's not going to be enough to bring him from
10
full to nothing.
seconds
So
remaining.
now DK, there's the Dragon Knight's also being banned
5
out. So
seconds remaining.
your mid heroes with a lot of lockdown for a Weaver, the pool is starting to look quite a bit smaller.
Reserve time.
There's nothing that has a lot of stuns apart from running a Lion solo mid. If you run a Lion solo mid, it comes back to the question, you're going to do one core plus a
10
Timbersaw again.
seconds
So,
remaining.
and you're going to potentially face up against a Bristleback Weaver, and they might steal
5
a
seconds
Bristleback
remaining.
Weaver and Puck. So this is 2 damage heroes and 1 tempo
Templar
controller.
Assassin.
So it'll be a TA to deal with. And TA
Dire
is really good
team
against
ban.
Puck in this in the laning phase. He's gonna get a very easy time to farm up his early Blink Dagger or jumps into Yasha.
Yeah, and you can see what Vici are doing. You know, they're being cute, trying to get the puck, and I think keep it away from DK as well. Because
10
I wouldn't have been too
seconds
surprised to see
remaining.
DK pick it up against the Weaver. Always nice to have a silence. You start
5
to make the
seconds
Weaver
remaining.
consider picking up a BKB, which he doesn't really want to do. But the TA is still in the
Reserve
pool, and
time.
DK will be able to grab it. So I think that solves the problem of they get another core hero, somebody that's relevant for the late game, and it helps them secure another lane.
They need another stun. The last hero that
Yeah.
Burning plays has to have a stun or some sort of disable. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult to kill the Weaver.
10
The Weaver just
seconds
needs to get a
remaining.
Lincoln.
What could it be?
5
I mean,
seconds
I don't think they
remaining.
want to go for a particularly weak
DK's
laning
turn
hero
to
either.
ban.
Sladar, minus armor, Bristleback gone. Weaver is also very big against minus armor.
Yeah,
I like
and
the
Vici
idea
Gaming,
of the Sladar.
Yeah, I like the idea a lot. I'm sold. So Vici Gaming, they're gonna get rid of the Luna.
10
I
seconds
guess you could also
remaining.
maybe consider something like safe lane Night Stalker,
5
but
seconds
I don't know.
remaining.
I don't like that nearly as much as Slardar.
I like the Sladar more, like in the
Dire
situation
team
like
pick.
this. Sladar will be able to give you the stun you need. He'll be able to give you the minus armor to deal with the Bristleback. He's also not that bad later in the game and he gets a lot of items. Like if you go for a Night Stalker is not as strong as Sladar later on. He's much more of a driving force early game to control the tempo, and that's not particularly a hero suitable for DK's playstyle.
Okay.
10
So-
seconds remaining.
Vici, not much time left here.
5 seconds remaining.
I think both teams have used pretty
Oh,
much
that
all
is-
of their time
DK
every
is
single
That
turn
is
to
time.
really, really greedy.
So yeah, it is. I guess it's 4 cores for Vici now, and even the Crystal Maiden's a fairly greedy support
Yeah,
if she
and
wants to
you,
be.
You asked me if someone's gonna escalate the cause, and they just did.
Yeah, Vici came in and like, look, we're gonna do what you did. We're on the dire side. We know that if we're even just a little bit ahead, we can stall this game and keep going for Roshan.
I got the message already.
10
He told me
seconds
that the
remaining.
Bristleback's passive doesn't do anything to the pure damage from Timbersaw.
Nice. Okay, so well, I was 70% sure, but it's nice to have confirmation. So yeah, I was. And DK, they are gonna pick up the Night Stalker here.
Well,
So-
you're actually you're
called it.
actually right. They're gonna do.
I'm
this is
2
like-
for 2, Winter. This is a rare moment. I'm gonna cherish it. Anyway, let's go.
Oh, this is like really not the way they're gonna pick the heroes. They're gonna be very aggressive. Are they gonna do like aggressive trying with the Night Stalker? This makes more sense if they want to do it that way. And they can have like isolated solo against the Bristleback. Because they know our TK is gonna play the Bristleback. That way they'll be having like all the lanes very favorable. Lana against Puck middle, Timbersaw against Bristleback off lane, and their tri lane with Night Stalker, Wench, and the Visage against the greedy lineup of Vici
10
Gaming.
seconds
This is a very
remaining.
good setup for them to run the aggressive tri lane.
Yeah, and
5 seconds
Vici Gaming, they had to
remaining.
make a decision. They had a couple of seconds left of pick time, and they went with the Darksters. So we'll see if this is going to come back to bite them. DK seem fairly confident in picking up this NS. So, but it is important for DK here. This is,
Prepare for battle.
and I guess they're now the ones with the pressure on them to execute. They're down 1 game in this best of 3, and Vici Gaming probably have the late game a little bit better secured. So DK can't be the ones to sit back and not do too much.
Yeah, but however, I feel for Vici Gaming, they don't really have another option to like dodge the tri-lane and try to gank. It's gonna be really hard in their situation at the moment. So they'll probably just try to farm the Dark, so just play as greedy as possible and use their level advantage because they have a jungling hero to fight later on. I don't think they are gonna have a good laning phase. Like the first 5 to 10 minutes is gonna be difficult, so difficult for them.
Do you think you bother keeping the Crystal Maiden and the Darkseer close to the Weaver on top lane, or do you try and have them
30
maybe in the
seconds
aggressive
to
jungle,
battle.
putting pressure on the mid and the Timbersaw?
But it's entirely up to them. Like
Yeah,
They
it's
can-
a
they
hard
can-
call.
yeah, it's a really hard call. You can't say which one is better for sure. Oh, Vici wants to fight here.
Oh,
Lamb is cut off.
Lanham slowed. Crystal Nova goes out.
He's
In
dead.
comes the orb as well. He's dead. First blood for Super.
That
Burning,
changes
losing some
things.
life as well.
That changes things. So now the puck has does he have his bottle yet? I think almost has his bottle.
The battle begins.
Yeah, but that first blood's gonna make it much easier for him.
They are still gonna do the aggressive challenge. Like this is the best laning they can hope for because Vici is so greedy. If they don't do anything to punish this and they run the Timbersaw on the off lane, that's gonna be what Vici Gaming wants. Having the Darkseer farm all he wants in the jungle.
Yeah. So I guess before we have too much more action, we should very quickly run over who's playing what. So over on DK, it's MMY or Die on the Visage. Burning is going to be your Night Stalker. We've got Lanham on the Vengeful Spirit heading towards mid. It's Mushi on his Templar Assassin. And we've got Ice handling the Timbersaw on bottom lane.
And for the Dire side, we have Syla on the Weaver, FY playing the greedy support as a Darkseer jungling, Super on the solo mid, Puck which got first blood, RTK on the Bristleback once again, Fenrir on the CM, which has just rotated from the top lane to the bottom lane.
Yeah, they actually choose to bring the CM bot. So they're just abandoning Sylar on top lane. He pretty much needs to fend for himself here.
He can't go for jungle because in the situation they were trying to get the first blood there. If he had Frostbite, he wouldn't have enough range to cast a Nova on Lamb, so he had to get Nova to secure the first blood, so he can't go for the jungling CM now. He needs to go be in the lane, and these two heroes don't really put a lot of pressure on the Timbersaw. Timbersaw can still farm the lane, it's not too much of a big deal for him.
Yeah, and if things go to plan for DK on top lane, Sylar is going to get nothing. I don't think he should ever be able to really approach
He
the
has
wave.
2 creeps now, that's not nothing, that's something.
That's something. It's slightly more than nothing, but he's still getting experience as well. He's actually, in fact, almost level 3, so doing all right for himself.
And the next important lane would be how much farm does the TA get out from against this Puck in the middle lane. The more he gets is the more damage he's gonna deal later on. The quicker he gets his, if he wants to get his Blink Dagger, he can kill the CM really quickly. But if he wants to go for more damage orientated lineup, like he's the only damage output right now because they went for the Night Stalker. So in his mind he'll probably be thinking like, I need to go a lot of right click damage. Like the Drums Yasha build would speed up his farming potential and give him a lot of mobility to do damage.
Yeah, the
Dire's
Treads Drum
middle
Yasha,
tower
something
is
along
under
those
attack.
lines. People have different preferences about phase versus
Movement speed.
treads.
Movement speed is always the king nowadays.
Gotta go fast. Yeah. So DK just continuing to pressure top lane. One thing that's worth pointing out for Vici is that they actually blocked out their own pull camp here. So they're preventing DK from being even greedier on this top lane. RTK in some trouble with Ice. There's a rank 1 Timber
no.
Chain. He's just trying to
He might
avoid
be
the
de-
trees.
he
He's
might die
bottling
here.
up. Ice, can he finish this? He's pretty quick. He's coming in with the Whirling Death. He puts it down, but he doesn't have enough mana to Timber Chain. RTK comes back in. He's got some mana. He's going to keep on the edge of the Bristleback. Ice jumps back in and finishes the kill. Gets the mana from the stick charges there, I believe.
He committed a little bit too heavy on that.
Dire's
Yeah,
bottom
Maybe he was
tower
think-
is under attack.
Maybe he was thinking Ice didn't have Timber Chain or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Ice is dead.
Oh, Fenrir actually ends up aggroing the Ancients, not able to get in. Ice is now salving up.
What?
What
He
is going on? And he's about to have a
He's-
Timber Chain in a sec.
he's-
Oh, he just
he's
walks
fine
away.
already now.
He just walks
Yes.
away.
Super can't kill him already. He has too much hit points.
Okay, so Ice making plays.
That was actually supposed to be a first blood going Vici's way if RTK didn't committed too far. At least, even though if they don't get the first blood, they were not supposed to lose him.
Well, I mean, First Blood was earlier with the Vengeful Spirit.
Oh, sorry,
but
not the first blood, but that kill. Oh, MMY is gonna get caught out here. He's gonna be slowed down repeatedly. by the
MMY,
missile
he's in trouble. He does manage to get a Soul Assumption out onto Fenrir, but RTK will just be able to chase him down, finish off the job. Ice does come in and finishes off the Crystal Maiden, so ends up being a support trade. We did have FY poking his head into the top lane for a moment, as Sylar actually copped a lot of damage, forced to pop his salve after a little bit of a dive from DK under the tower.
Yeah,
so.
they can actually try to kill the Vengeful Spirit now, since they saw the Visage rotating bottom with 2 Iron Shells on the Weaver and the Darkseer himself. They can actually take down the Venge really quickly.
Yeah, and Nightstalker's still not really that scary. He's just level 3 right now. DK are doing pretty well in terms of overall farm, but we're fairly even, honestly.
Yeah, he still doesn't have his bonus movement speed from the Hunter in the Night. He skilled his silence, because against the Weaver you want to have the silence to kill him.
Yeah, so I guess MMY came bot just because they couldn't get much farm top. Like we pointed out, Vici Gaming blocked their own pull. So it looks like he's trying to get some levels.
That ward was really crucial to deny the experience gain from the Venge and the Visage. Like, most importantly, the Visage. The Venge doesn't really benefit as much as the Visage on all the levels. So that ward was really crucial, like you said.
Yeah, and so it looks like DK are now aiming a little bit more towards the mid game as well. We've got a Surge coming in, Coil dropped on Mushi, he's able to meld, turns around on Super, deals some good damage, he's going to be able to jaunt his way back to safety. Mushi, he's waited out the Coil, and looks like Vici Gaming will be unsuccessful in securing that kill.
Yeah, they didn't also have a sentry there, so Mushi could have just run back to his tower and melt if anything else goes wrong. So
yeah, it didn't bring any anti-invis to gank the Tia. I think the plan was that even if he just sat there melding, you could have 2 Ion Shells right on the spot where he was melded, but he managed to make it far enough back, and the coil wore off, so Mushi survives, and things looking okay.
He waited long enough, like you said. Like, he didn't get stunned, and there was a really well-played situation for him. There was so much time invested by Vici to try and get the kill. And with Puck versus TA alone, the Puck can't really harass the TA too much, so Mushi was always going to be on full HP.
Yeah, you do have to give credit to Super in terms of how well he's done in CS on this lane. I mean, he's 24 for 6, Mushi is 32 and 10, but Puck is still getting what he needs.
Yeah. Without the first blood, he will not do this well against a TA.
And what did... DK were up there because they were warding the big camp. They are going to be able to stun up Sylar on top lane. He's silenced as well. Burning chasing down. Will he be able to get another Void off? He's got some stick charges. He pops them, but Sylar's already time-lapsed, so he's going to be fine.
Oh, I thought actually he could got his Void off before the time-lapse.
It looked like it, but Burning not quite able to get it, so we're still 2 for 2 right now, but this is not going quite as well as I think DK were hoping. All 4 of the Vici Gaming cores are pretty much getting farm at the moment.
Yeah, it was all about the rotations, they change up in the lanes. When I said that they didn't have any much options to do, like, they could have still done like the CM. I felt it was a really good move by them to put the CM in the bottom lane and run a jungling CM in the enemy territory, so that there's a lot of pressure coming down from the DK solos not knowing where's the CM. It forced like the Visage to come down to rotate and try to have some control over their own jungle, and now the CM is back to their own jungle. Like, he's always dodging them.
Yeah, so MMY keeps running pulls bot. DK have placed, well, a ward down in the Dire jungle right now, but this ward kind of suggests that they're considering just leaving Burning top lane for a while against the Weaver. We do in fact have Lana moving his way up right now, but this looks like DK are kind of settling into the pace of game that Vici Gaming were looking for. So for DK, where do you see the first move happening? Ice is doing pretty well. He's got his Arcane Boots up, he's got his Magic Wand, so he could maybe start rotating around a little bit, but I think Burning is a bit behind where they'd like him to be, or Sylar has more farm than they were probably hoping for him to have.
Like, I talked about this a lot, like, when you pick a Night Stalker nowadays, the prime time would never be the first night anymore. It's always going to be the second night before you are able to utilize the levels you gain. Like, they didn't give him a solo lane, so he can't really do much in the first night. It's going to be the second night that determines the outcome of the impact of the Night Stalker has in this game.
Yeah, and that first night probably needs to get quite a bit done for them. I mean, as much as kills would be nice, I think they also need to be able to pick up some things. There's going to be a coil dropped on Mushi mid, goes to the edge, breaks it. Did they bring some anti-invis this time around? He's gonna get silenced up the coil. Well, the orb flies back, and Vici Gaming do manage to bring down Mushi. So FY, despite being a pretty greedy support, has got quite a bit done. RTK jumped bottom lane. Soul Assumption goes out, but looks like he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine with the amount of defensive abilities he has. Even having the buckler there helped him a lot.
And Super with that kill mid, he's almost got his Blink Dagger up right now, so doing pretty well. Silo's getting farm, has
Bottom
his
lane,
treads.
RTK, they're going on him with the familiars.
Familiar drops. They have enough damage to finish him. They do. Ice has a maxed out Timber Chain.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, the Bristleback is not gonna help him.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Well, it does, but yeah, it's not gonna save him there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So
Puck
FY
has his stagger already in 100 gold, and FY is gonna be building
a Midas.
Hand of Midas, as usual.
Bone 7. I blame the Darkseer Midas on him. I blame support Midas on Misery, I think.
For the Darkseer getting a Midas, actually I've seen quite a number of players do it even before Misery popularized the CM getting a Midas. Like, it's a really good thing. Like Darkseer, you always face the problem where, okay, I have my mecha at 8 or 9 minutes or 10 minutes. If I farm the jungle uncontested. But what happens next? I am not high level enough to join a fight, but whereas when I build an item like the mecha, I want to contribute to my team, I want to fight. So it's a really tough spot for Darkseer when you have the item but you don't have the level. So how do you solve the problem to create a better timing for Darkseer, which is getting a Midas?
Yeah. How do you buy levels? Well, there's only one way, and that's to pick up the Midas. And I think Vici Gaming, things are fine right now, unless everything starts to fall apart really heavily as soon as we reach this second night.
Yeah.
Then things are looking pretty good. And two-man smoke.
It looks like
top.
they're gonna get the Wrench in the Night Stalker.
There isn't even a dagger on Super yet, but do they even need it? They spot 2, they coil 2, everybody's running in, the stun thrown out onto the Puck, burning, it's not even nighttime, he's just gonna be focused down. They bring down the Venge, and they bring down the Night Stalker. Double kill for Super, so I guess Treads and Blink Dagger on the way, and DK, this is not going as hoped. They are going to be able to bring down the tier 1 bottom lane. MMY picks up the last hit there, so nice chunk of gold for him. Mid lane Mushi man fighting against FY. There's the vacuum back. He's got a little bit of surge left, but well, actually enough to survive from the Mushi game.
I think they are going to be in a lot of trouble after that. Like, they really need to make sure that things doesn't really go out of hand. Like, too much. Ice is gonna be
Ice in trouble. Silenced. MMY is here as well. The Puck able to jaunt out. Looks like Siler's gonna be okay. And Burning, he's here. He's gonna pop the darkness. He needs to find some kills. He's heading towards Fenrir right now. Ice comes in with the Timber Chain, throws at the Chakram. They do manage to find that kill.
1 kill, only the CM. That was not very bad for VG. They can take that. They can take that trade anytime. Like, they're not too bothered by that. Like, all their heroes are still farming. The CM is just their lone support. They don't really need to care about her.
She's just gonna buy all the wards and be sad this game, basically.
I wonder if she's ever gonna get a Midas too. Like, it's gonna be really difficult this game for Fenrir.
Maybe if FY helps with the wards, but I don't know if he is. He's got a Midas. He's got items on the line.
I don't foresee that happening though.
Yeah, I don't expect that either. Maybe if they start to bring down some towers, but again, I think Vici are just gonna sit back, farm, maybe take some trades, turn up at some team fights if they absolutely have to. But right now, things are favoring them. They're up about 2k experience. Ice is gonna try and combo down RTK bottom lane, but not quite enough burst to kill him off.
He almost did it. Like, RTK TP'd very quickly.
And DK just 4 heroes sitting top. Mushi is kind of mysteriously melded here, so he's hoping that somebody's gonna walk up, but not gonna end up happening. And well, DK, they are trying to pressure this. Ice won't be able to TP top for 30 seconds, so looks like DK just gonna make the call to back off and go back to farming lanes. But we're in the middle of this all-important second night, and not a whole lot has happened just yet, though we do have a 3-man smoke.
Is Burning gonna get a Midas too?
He might. I don't know what else you're gonna buy with this Glove of Haste.
Armlet, but doesn't seem like the case.
True. Yeah, we'll see. FY,
the
target on mid. Do they even need Burning here? They stun him up. They slow him, they meld him, he gets the vacuum, he gets the surge.
Dire's middle
We'll just
tower
be
He wants to be there to get his own
Radiant's
charges, so
top tower is under attack.
that'll be
Dire's
really
middle
useful for
tower
them.
has fallen.
Yeah, and DK, this is what they need. Pickoffs into towers. Vici Gaming trying to push down top lane, but Ice is going to be there ready with the chakram to stall
Dire's
things.
middle
And
tower
this
is
is where
under
Vici
attack.
Gaming, there's a call to be made. Do they all try and jump in mid and look for this fight? Super does have his Blink Dagger, he does have a coil off cooldown. We've got RTK running in from the side as well with a mech ready. So, looks like FY doesn't even have to build a mech this game. So Darkseer can... What do you think he goes for here?
It depends on what he wants to target. He can go for a scepter. Like scepter is also a really good item on him. Or he can go for utility items like Force Staff or Shiva's Skirt. There's a lot of options. Like nothing is certainly better than the other options. So it's really up to the team and what he wants to build.
Yeah. Could even end up just farming a Hex here. I mean,
I
when
feel like
in doubt, build a Hex.
The Vanguard could also be useful against the Night Stalker and TA. It's very helpful against all those right click damage.
And we have a jump in super mid. It's only a coil out onto Mushi. He's eating some big damage as well from the right clicks. They get the bite, but MMY here is backing them up. FY saved by the mech for now, but Burning, he's here as well. Gets the void. They finish off one. The slow onto super, the slow onto RTK. The soul assumption finishes off the puck. There's another trap being dropped down. Mushi eating some big damage, but he gets his refraction charges back up. Sylar here looks towards Mushi. Will be able to bring him down. Maybe he's still alive. He's still bottling up. The meld. 3, 2, 1. Sylar with the auto attacks manages to finish it off before he gets it. But Vici Gaming lose 4 in exchange for 1, and they were the ones that initiated that fight, just thinking that they could get another freebie off Mushi. Maybe.
Yeah, they don't really have like a spell that takes off the reflection really quickly apart from the Iron Shell, and they needed to run in towards the Mushi's position to damage him with the Iron Shell. He was so close to the tower that it was such a dangerous dive. And Burning has his Midas. I actually talked to Demon when I was in Korea. He told me that top lane.
Yeah, Lanham's probably dead here. Ice jumps in. Who can he get? Super. Not much phase shift for him, so will be brought down. Ends up being 1-for-1 top lane, and another favorable trade for DK. But Winter, you were saying about Demon and Midas.
Yeah,
in
he
Korea?
told me that from his experience playing Night Stalker, he felt that getting a Midas or Night Stalker in a farming Night Stalker situation like a tri-lane is very good. It gives you all the levels, and it's like you can be really relevant later on as Night Stalker doing damage, so he likes to go for the Midas as Night Stalker too.
You do sometimes fall into the problem of it's 35 minutes as Night Stalker. Yes, you've got some kills, but all you've got is, say, a BKB and treads. Oh my lord! Ice. Goodbye, Sylar. Burning's running into the back lines. FY doesn't really have too much to do about this angry Night Stalker, and Ice is jumping in as well. Burning getting gooed up, and we have a buyback from the Weaver as well. DK just sticking behind the tower, staying grouped up. Burning continues to get stacked up with the quills. Sylar still has this time lapse, but Ice keeps on going, brings down RTK. Mushi's still pretty healthy. Super jumps in, but he's just going to be forced to jaunt away in a second, and Vici Gaming on a retreat. Burning gets hit by the coil and by the bite. Will he be brought down by Sylar? Turns around, drops the void. There's a stun as well. They finish off Weaver. It's 4-0 with the buyback and another death for Vici. So that's 5-0.
That was just the Timbersaw doing. The Timbersaw was just really good against the lineup of VG have. Like so potent. The Bristleback seems like a paper against the Timbersaw. He's not like the tank he is like the last game.
Top tower has fallen.
Yeah, and with that, MMY is actually going to eclipse anybody on Vici Gaming in terms of farm. It looks like the greedy build's being punished pretty heavily. Mushi's found FY, but looks like he's going to be able to surge back to safety.
Dire's top tower.
And we said it, Winter. It was like the big metric was DK. Can they get enough out of that first night? And call it a blunder from Vici Gaming mid. DK are now well in control of this game. 7.5k gold, 7.5k experience, all the tier 1s down, plenty of vision everywhere, and Vici are kind of struggling to maintain vision and just get farm from this point, I suppose.
Yeah, losing those two fights, like you said, is very, very difficult for them already. Like, they were taking fights that were near enemy's tower. They were taking fights where they were out of position. Like, it wasn't like the first game where they were so disciplined and everything was well planned and well executed for VG Gaming. This time around, their execution was not as good as the first game.
Yeah, and DK did a really good job on that top fight of dragging the fight away from the tier 1 and the tier 2. It was really all in the space between the towers, so there wasn't really much of an advantage for Vici as far as fighting in their own territory was concerned. And DK, it's daytime, but they're just gonna head straight to the Roshan pit, pick this up fairly easily, and it looks like Vici just no response. We have heroes kind of moving down right now, but they're not going to be there in time.
Roshan has fallen to the
Yeah, it's gonna be an Aegis for the Night Stalker. I'm actually quite surprised by this. Like the TA does a lot more at this point. You have to give the Aegis to Burning, I guess.
Yeah, he's the carry. He's the one position.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I wouldn't say that the Night Stalker is the one position now.
Probably not. Timbersaw is doing very well for himself. Ice. 6 kills, no deaths, 4 assists. He's playing at 200 ping, but it doesn't really seem to affect him, on the Timbersaw at least.
Yeah, he's the main driving force of the lead they have right now. He won his lane and he made a lot of kills that otherwise wouldn't be possible if he wasn't on a hero like Timbersaw. Because Timbersaw just deals so much damage.
Yeah, I mean,
you will never be able.
We saw him
you will never be able
explode
to do it.
Sylar top. That was.
You will never
crazy.
be able to do it as a top.
Mushi coiled, bitten, but Burning's coming in. They get a vacuum together on 3. FY being focused. He manages to drop the wall. The freezing field dropped by Fenrir. Mech gonna keep FY alive. Burning keeps on chasing. He's got this Aegis, but MMY on the backlines looks towards Super. The Familiars and Burning with the Void managed to bring him down. Fenrir also slowed down. Sylar gonna keep on fighting. The Aegis pops off, but Mushi's joined this fight with a haste rune. MMY dominating streak as he finds another kill. Lanham swaps, and Vici Gaming 20-minute GG. They've had enough.
Yeah, they are in a really tough situation already, very far behind, and their heroes doesn't really have anything like a super late game carry. Everything is a semi carry. It's not as strong as the last game, but they were greedy at the same time, having a Darkseer to give them that sort of team fight, but they still couldn't win a team fight. So basically after that, it was really hard for them to come back, and Sylar doesn't even have great farm to begin with.
And I guess it just goes to show you how quickly a game can spiral out of control. I mean, we were talking about Vici Gaming being okay. They just needed to hold on to their towers, continue farming. They've got the 4-core lineup. If this drags on, then things are going to be fine. But two team fights back to back, and
they
DK
tried to
win the
take
game.
Fights, and that happened.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like they had bad split push either. They could have had the Darkseer and the Weaver threatening,
And the Puck.
and the Puck as well. So
Yeah.
I guess lesson learned for Vici. DK can be an extremely aggressive lineup when they need to be.
Yeah, the Timbersaw plus the Night Stalker was doing so much work there. Every time Mushi got ganked, they were there to bail him out. They were there to get the return kills. Mushi didn't have a easy time in the mid lane. It was always him being the target of the ganks, and the Timbersaw got so much space. They got kills. Night Stalker and Timbersaw together was able to, like, the second night phase was just so good for them, and they spiraled out of control, and VG couldn't control the game anymore. No space to farm, and they lost 2 fights, like you said, and it was basically in a really bad position after that.
So, guys, that's going to wrap it up for Game 2. We're going to head out to a decisive third and final game. I'm Baseskip, he's Winter, here on the Beyond the Summit TV channel. It's been a pleasure casting for you so far this evening, and I hope that you'll join us for the next game.